Hello, young friends. Greetings. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Group Captain Srivastava. Young friends, for the last about 1.5 months or so, due to my personal and family commitments, I was not all that regular in conducting the courses, though courses were conducted. And in the dossier evaluation programs, many times I have to postpone the dates as they have been desired by the seekers, the Ssb aspirants. So many of such seekers or the aspirants, they were a little disappointed because my irregularity and their schedule, their possible or the future, appearance for the SSB could not match. So I thought that in this video, I will make my, the future dates available to you for psychological guidance program. And as far as the dossier assessment is concerned, so it can be well customized according to your needs. So young friends, besides this, I'll be discussing my methodology and some other details also, because many of you, okay, must have come on this channel quite recently. They might not be aware about my methodology, etc. So in this video, besides the tentative schedule up till March, I'll be discussing some more details also. Bear with me for a few seconds. Young friends, the tentative schedule of future batches is now on your screen. In the month of December, the first batch would commence on 11th December and it will conclude on the 19th, and second batch dates are from 23rd December to 31st December. Next year, that is January 25, again 2 batches have been planned, 6th January to 14th January and from 22nd to 30th January. In the month of February, the first batch will commence on the 3rd of February to terminate on the 12th February, and second batch will start from the 17th February and it will conclude on 25th February. In the month of March, the first batch has been scheduled as commencing from the 3rd of March and it will terminate on 12th of March. The second batch is yet to be finalized because there are certain commitments in offing, some unforeseen could come. I'm foreseeing something unforeseen, and the dossier assessment will go on as usual without any hindrance. So for that, you may contact on the number mentioned here. And now, young friends, I'll tell you about my methodology and other details. But before that, I want you to understand what is the nature of the psychological technique, because only then you will be in a position to appreciate my methodology much better. Young friends, remember that the psych technique is not structured or as much structured when you compare it with the group testing or the interview technique. The primary reason is that in the psych technique, we do not have anything like a fixed answers. There are multiple stimuli, multiple types of stimuli, even in one test. For that matter, let us say, for example, we can say that in thematic apperception test or picture story writing test, we give you multiple types of stimuli, multiple types of environment, and that is why I can say with convictions that the psych technique doesn't have a fixed structure. Fixed structure in if you compare it with the other techniques. Okay. Next thing is, friends, remember that psych technique that sinks in your mind very, very slowly, because you are a person who is conditioned to respond in certain way, think in certain way, and many a time when the desirable responses are, you know, told to you, when you are told to customize your responses according to the situation, then the interference from your existing habit patterns, value system, thinking patterns, and your cognitive abilities definitely, okay, they interfere. And that is why it is difficult for, the people to take the recommendations or the prescriptions. What does it mean, young friends? It simply means that you must start preparation of psych technique as early as it is possible. What happens that the aspirants, they wait for, or they make the preparations in stages. Let's say they prepare for the written test, and then they go for preparations for their SSB, including the psychological test, only after clearance of their written examinations. Young friends, here my recommendation will be, you should start rather, preparations for the psych technique as early as it is possible. Do not wait for the result. The preparations for the psychological test will certainly help you even in other fields of life. I, for one, very strongly believe that you must start preparing for the psych test just as you start preparing for the written examinations. Friends, remember that in psychological technique, we do not have the facts or the theories as they have been absorbed in the academic subjects. There's nothing like formulae. You cannot expect a chemical composition like, the structure of your responses in the various tests. Very unfortunately, some people, they expect the psych techniques also to be like mathematics or physics or chemistry, wherein the structural, the approach would work. No, here the structural approach will not work. Then what is the way out, friends? The way out is that you must understand the concept. You must learn to appreciate, analyze, and evaluate the situations. Then you must examine what is the appropriate response. So logic and conceptual clarity and connecting with the situations only will be working. And remember, some of the mentors or instructors, they provide you the models, responses, model stories, etc., etc. Friends, please remember that the created responses, the one that you create on the spot, seeing the situation, is the most reliable and most valid input for assessment of your behavior. The retained responses, let us say somebody has given you a model story. You have retained it and you have reproduced that. No, this doesn't work. You must understand. And the sooner this concept is there, that sinks in your mind, the better it is. Then you will be depending on your own creativity. Young friends, one more thing about the psych technique. It doesn't give me any pleasure. In fact, I feel rather pained to find out that in the ecosystem of SSB preparations, there is a critical shortage or deficit of qualified mentors in the psych technique. These people, they dwell on two or three things almost universally: the OLQs, the positive approach, and the model answers, the model stories, model sentences. Friends, remember that the SSB and these concepts, they are not for the candidates, but the OLQs and the the positive approach, etc. They are meant for the consumption of the the assessors of different technique. In my guidance program, I include a very lucid explanation of why the concept of OLQ. This is meant not for retention and pretentiously trying to bring it in your responses, but this is meant for, if at all an instructor gives you the concept of OLQ, you may take it for a stimulant of your or a clarity for your future development rather than just retain and reproducing it. Friends, I'm sure that you are getting my point. Now, the allied details regarding the duration, regarding the contents, etc., etc. So remember, friends, that I provide only the online guidance, and I've got a syllabus, you may say, of 14 hours. This is, through the Zoom meetings and 2 hours per day, preferably in the evenings, because there are many people who are working and they find not very convenient to go for morning batches. Contents will be much, much beyond the conventional concepts, that is the OLQ and the positive approach and the model answers. There are two types of contents. First, friends, remember that you must understand the concept and the kind of, you must be oriented towards the SSB as a very, very different system altogether. SSB, what does it look for? And it is always in relation with the job profile of a junior officer. These things will be explained to you amply and in a in a wide detail, should I say, in quite depth. I'll be explaining you, and then what you perform while you are in the role of an officer in different situations. Let's say in a combat or in a non-combat situation. Then what are the qualities and how the system is committed to fish out those qualities from your personality. I take about 4 hours to explain this. It might appear something very, difficult to believe, but yes, you will find that such a type of knowledge is essential to conceptualize the SSB. And next thing is, friends, that remaining 10 hours I consume in explaining you the details, micro details of psychological technique. Some people, they say that you have to produce a learner, and this is my approach, that I treat you as a learner, I treat you as a pupil, I treat you a person who is to grow up cognitively, behaviorally, thought-wise, emotion-wise. And this growth is possible only when, if you understand the SSB as a system and psychological technique in particular. Young friends, my methodology is discussion. My methodology is to give the conceptual clarity in a personal one-to-one situation almost, because I do not entertain more than 10 people at a time. You will receive the opportunity of interacting rather personally, clarifying your doubts rather personally. Reflection and feedback on your responses is also the part of my training scheme. So I explain and I give you the concept. I will not be, mind you, I will not be giving any prescription. I will only recommend. There will not be any insistence on any content which I'll provide you, but I will encourage you to produce the responses through your own imagination, through your own cognitive strength. Friends, I believe that you will create and I will comment. It is just like the approach of, a coach. A coach tells the player how to give a particular shot or particular move, or what is the general strength which is needed for a particular game. A coach does not play in the field for the player. You have to play. So your responses are very, very individual responses which must reflect your qualities, friends. So I will not be giving any particular, you know, uh, model stories, model responses, because there is a danger, friends. And this danger is that once the model stories are given, the contents are being reproduced, we have seen multiple times. Young friends, to continue with the astrology, I insist I do not believe in giving you any types of tricks or hacks or anything with which you consciously can, manage your impression. No. I believe with a great firmness that if you have got the qualities, they will reflect in your responses anyway. Yes, you must understand what is the desirable way of putting your responses forth. And young friends, this is additional and optional. You may opt for getting a personal feedback and a counseling session, or you may try to obtain, or you may you may obtain the personal strategy for preparation through a personal counseling session. However, I repeat it here, this is additional and optional. Young friends, for future details or any further details, you may contact me on this number that you see. It's there on your screen, 888-493-4016. Young friends, I'm Group Captain Srivastava, a postgraduate in psychology, ex-psychologist, Varanasi and Mysore, ex-headmaster, Sainik School, Kapurthala and Sainik School, Imphal, ex-instructor and counselor, Air Force Academy, Hyderabad. Visit my channel, like, subscribe. You will find there are a number of videos to clarify about the psychological technique and about the SSP as a new system. Young friends, आज के लिए इतना ही. I'd like to sum up saying that this video contains my future schedule of batches. And here, when I say it is future schedule of batches, let me put it very humbly, friends, that because of my future commitments, I still say that these dates are merely tentative. You can approach me for confirmation of these batches in a particular month. God bless you. Have a nice day.